Hi, this is Coralla at CorallaThicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, iStudyGuides.com, iStudyCards.com, and any of my writings at Pedians, PEDIANS.com. Okay, this is the second part of looking at animal expressions, looking at ass, ASS, okay, and I'm using as it's used in British English and used also in American English, although we don't use the word that much. We normally say donkey, and the reason we don't in American English you don't use that word because ass can be mistaken for the vulgar term for the derrière or for the backside or for the bottom. But there are very, very interesting expressions about ass, about the animal, the ass. So I'm going to go straight to it. So here's another one. This is an expression from, oh, by the way, when I look over here, when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the study cards that you can download at iStudyCards.com and iStudyCards or iStudyGuides.com. And there it'll give you a much more detailed, where, when I say like 1600s, it'll give you the detail of where the expression came from where did the expression come, and who's given credit for the expression. But now I'm just going to give you a general understanding and then the expression. I've heard this expression before. It's called an ass in lion skin, but I had never known what it meant before. But here's the expression, because I had never known the expression. And you'll see also that this is the old spelling here. Ass is spelled A-S-S-E. Okay, these aren't typographical errors. This is how you'll see how the English language has changed throughout. The ass which put, not puts, because at the time there was no S at the end. So the ass which put on the lion, and lion is spelled L-Y-O-N-S. The ass which put on the lion's skin was known for an ass and used like an ass. In other words, even though the donkey, because I feel much more comfortable saying donkey, even though the donkey changed his clothing to appear to be something other than what he was, everyone knew he was a donkey. So the ass which put on the lion's skin was known for an ass, and used for an ass. Everybody knew. So it didn't make any difference. And when you're known for an ass and used as an ass, that means you're used as a beast of burden. That means you are used in order to help someone else or to help the human being get to where he wants to go. A beast of burden would be the donkey, and to a certain extent, depending on the type of horse, a horse. Depending. The horse is a little bit different. Okay, let's see. Okay. Here's another one. This is 1600s. Clad, and it's a play on the same expression. Clad in a lion's shaggy hide. Clad means dressed in a lion's shaggy hide. An ass spread terror far and wide. That is, a donkey dresses himself up as a lion. As a result of dressing himself up as a lion, he acts like a lion. An ass spread terror far and wide, everywhere. Far and wide means everywhere. But these are old expressions in English. Let me see if I skipped something. Okay. Nope. So, we move on. Here's another expression. This is 19th century, and it's a play on, once again, someone trying to be who he isn't, and one way of doing that is putting on a facade. He who is an ass and thinks himself a deer, when he tries to leap the ditch, his error will be clear. That is, if you try to be something that you're not, let's say, for example, I try to be a doctor for whatever reason. I'm going to use something very concrete. And then when it comes time for me, or a surgeon better, and then when it comes time for me to do surgery, it would be very clear to not just myself, although I know, but to everyone that I'm not a surgeon. Because he who is an ass and thinks himself a deer, when he tries to leap, to jump the ditch, a ditch is sort of like a hole, a large hole. When he tries to leap the ditch, his error will be clear, but he won't be able to do it. Because an ass can't do the same type of movement as a deer. Very interesting. I like these expressions. They're old, but they're still used. These are like proverbs. All right. Until, this is 20th century. Until the donkey tried to clear the fences. Until the donkey tried to clear the fences. And when you try to clear the fences, that is to jump over the fence, he thought himself a deer. Interesting. Until the donkey tried to clear the fences, he thought himself a deer. And you know what's a play on this? It's the story, The Ugly Duckling. He thought he was one type of bird, and as he grew up, he saw that he wasn't. So he thought he was a swan, I think. And then he found out that he wasn't, because he couldn't do the same activities. But that didn't happen when he was a baby. When he was a baby, all the babies thought they were more or less the same. But then when it came time for him to act the role of a swan like his brothers and sisters, he found out that he wasn't at all. And there's an expression in American English that says, I want to make sure I don't go over my time, you can't make a silk purse, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's, a sow is a pig, it's a female pig, out of a sow's ear. Okay, what something is, the essence of what something is what that thing or person is. And you can't change just because you change the facha, the facade. Okay. Once again, and this is expression 18th century. What good can it do an ass to be called a lion? Because you're still an ass. What is it? A rose is a rose is a rose is a rose, Shakespeare. So it doesn't matter what you call it, it is what it is. An ass is known by his ears. That is, each thing or whatever has its own characteristics, and it can't be changed. These are proverbs, not necessarily true, because some of the proverbs even contradict each other. Okay. An ass covered with gold is more respected than a good horse with a pack saddle. Interesting. An ass covered with gold is more respected than a good horse with a pack saddle. So here it's saying it's just the opposite, that although it's not a matter of changing your clothes, but it or your outside appearance, but an ass covered with gold, which is valuable, is considered more valuable than a horse. And a pack saddle is something that you normally put on a donkey. Interesting, interesting. By their words we know fools, and asses by their ears. By their words we know fools, and asses by their ears. So an ass is known by his ears, and a fool is known by what he says, or maybe doesn't say. Okay, I will give you one more. Asses die and wolves bury them. Interesting. Asses die and wolves bury them. This is 18th century. When an ass kicks you, never tell it. When an ass kicks you, never tell it. Okay, so this is Coralla at CorallaFicklin.com. You can download, you can come in to study iStudy cards or iStudy guides and download these cards and get get a more complete explanation of a lot of these cards. Okay, Corella Ficklin at CorellaFicklin.com.